Aaron Judge is a better version of Brock Lesnar.
What is something you love as much as the Charmin Bears love wiping?
As an opposing fan, you'd probably see his face and want to sock him between the cracks. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Losses Above Replacement, the greatest baseball podcast, two great years. I'm today's host, Mathias Kurosaki, and with me, as always, we have my amazing co-hosts, Ryan Splash Potts and Alex Clark. First things first, as we start every episode, my main men, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
I have breaking news, fellas. We are all on the injured list now. All on the 60-day IL. It is what it is. I do want to give a shout out to some Braves accounts. When the Braves signed Dominic Smith to an NRI deal or minor league deal, something, someone's like, "Oh, this means Matt Olson has dysentery now." So I did laugh. That would bring me excessive depression if Matt Olson missed a single game, let alone enough time for Dominic Smith to play. So stop with the injuries, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm also on the IL, as you can see by the fact that, IL, by the fact that I'm not here on camera today. So you just get to see my beautiful face and a little bubble around it. I have been sick for the last week plus, and I'm not looking so pretty today, shall we say. So, unfortunately, I will be just this for today. Hope it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know if it really shows on camera, but I got a little sunburned over the last week. I was in Florida on a team training trip, which was awesome. It was nice to get out of the freezing cold Northeast for a little bit. But I looked in the mirror about 48 hours in, and I was like, wow, my face kind of looks like a tomato. Other than that, I mean, I got a bit of a tan. I got to, hang out with my teammates, which was nice. Probably did more swimming in 5 or 6 days that than I had in about 6 years since before the pandemic. So it was a lot of constantly in the water, the beautiful International Swimming Hall of Fame facility, which was super nice, and they were gracious enough to host us for those 6 days, which was great. I had a pretty swell week, I'd say. I got to go visit my old coach, which is great. It was a pretty good week. I unfortunately missed you guys last week. It seems like you guys did just fine without me, but I don't know. It seems like the show went well, right, guys? Viewers, you guys agree too, right?
Yeah. No, definitely wasn't a 15-round MMA style fight. No, definitely. Great. Actually, no, it did. From what I remember, it went well, right, Splash?
I would hope you remember more than that. Sure. Trivia was good. The position we ranked was mid.
Yeah, true.
I struggled coming up with that.
I don't remember doing any news.
I don't think we did.
Oh, we did. Yes. We asked the world famous handmate question.
Right. I remember that.
Is it time for question of the day, fellas?
Yeah, actually, let's do that. Question of the day.
Yes.
All right. I need to think of a question of the day while I look for our clip. All right. Question of the day.
Great.
What is the best kind of jelly for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
None. Next question.
I was going to say, I'm not a huge jelly guy, but if I were to pick one, give me grape jelly.
Okay. I like it in the squeeze bottle.
I mean,
I'm not a big gelatin guy. That's the thing. Like gelatin, like anything, like I don't really. The texture throws me off for some reason. I don't know.
I mean, that's honestly, I'm the same as you, Mac. I'm just not a fan at that point.
Wow. I did not expect to get jelly slander on the podcast today, but here we are.
Look, I love peanut butter, though. That's the thing. Is
true.
That peanut butter,
absolutely.
Peanut butter is one of my favorite things on earth. Like, I'll just straight up say it. Like, I've eaten so much peanut butter in my life. It's
then what else goes on the sandwich? Peanut butter and
nothing. Honestly, sometimes I just go. either I go straight peanut butter. You could throw like Nutella on there.
Oh yeah, that's
or
good.
when I was younger, chocolate chips also goes well on there. If you're really ambitious, you could make the world famous Fluffernutter.
I was thinking of
I'm
that.
not gonna. I won't do that.
Peanut butter and marshmallow fluff.
Okay. Any love for bananas?
No.
Okay, hot take here. That's the one fruit I don't eat. They're like,
Okay.
not like I don't eat them at all. It's just it's the one fruit like I don't really like that much.
Darn.
And like
Okay.
cantaloupe, like I don't love cantaloupe.
Oh, you're killing me, Mac.
I mean, I do love cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is fantastic.
What about peanut butter and honey?
I can do that actually. Peanut
Okay.
butter and honey, I can vibe with.
We found some
I
common
haven't
ground.
had it in a long time, but yeah, no, I it's not my number one choice, but it's there.
Have you guys had cookie butter before?
Oh yeah, cookie butter's fire.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Okay. Baseball time.
baseball.
So we did have some news, and I'd say it was sort of the opposite of peanut butter and jelly in the Phillies clubhouse this year. Nick Castellanos was granted his release 4 years into his 5-year contract. So it sounds like there was a lot of turmoil there. Most infamously, he brought a beer into the dugout, which is just a massive no-no. You cannot be doing that. But he's already been scooped up. I was honestly wondering, after hearing everything about him and the article published by Matt Gelb in The Athletic, if he would get signed at all this season. But it took about 24 hours for a team to pick him up, signed with the Padres for the league minimum, and he's going to be playing first base, it sounds. Not a guy lauded for his defense. But guys, what are your thoughts on this whole situation and the Padres being so aggressive picking him up?
So first, I would like to make a joke here, in that we were just talking about PB&Js here. Well, for him, it's more like PBR with the joke he had at the by bringing a beer into the clubhouse. But anyway, I mean, I'm okay
that was a
with
good one.
this. Okay, thank you. I think overall, right, like this is it's a buy low move, right? And that's the main thing here, is that we have seen a lot in the last couple of years that teams have gone into these buy low moves on players that have proven that they can do amazing work here. I think Jorge Polanco was one of the big stories of that same bit last year. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't horrible in 2025, just wasn't at the level that we expect. And also, again, there was some team turmoil going on as well. So maybe what he just needs is that fresh coat of paint here, just getting things going. And on top of it, he's not going to have near as much of the personalities, I think, to work through. And from what we're seeing as well, Philadelphia has a lot of personality within the team, which is not always a bad thing. Right? I like personality in my clubhouse, but you also sometimes need that little bit of a refresher here. And I think the Padres probably have that for him. So you know what? He's betting on himself here. He's taking the league minimum. Here, that's the main thing to take away on this here, is that there is no lower that he could go on this deal. Here, they got him for the absolute minimum. And even with that here, he is still expected now to potentially to be competing for the first base position here, and he's never played first base. It can't be that hard. Wash, tell him.
It's incredibly hard.
Hey, anything worth doing is. So, but that's the thing here. I think this is going to be a good move. I don't think this is going to be a nothing burger move, but I think that anybody that is saying that, Castellanos is just going to fall by the wayside, I don't agree with that. I think if anything, he's going to be a good platoon bat for them here. So at that point, right, I just don't want any more tragedies, okay? I don't want Castellanos to hit anytime there's a tragedy, okay? Just please no.
So, okay. First, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. The Padres have pulled this shtick off with Jurickson Profar in 2024 and Gavin Sheets last year. And to a lesser extent, Ramon Laureano. He was awesome for San Diego. So if there's any team that can get the juice out of the weirdly shaped orange, it's the Padres. Now, I know he's not a former shortstop, so that kind of throws off the whole shtick they have. Although he did used to play a little bit of third base. So
that was his position coming up.
Yeah, close enough, I guess. I have my concerns. Obviously, the plate skills are on the decline. He had his worst season by OPS of his career since his first cup of coffee. 694 OPS in a really good hitter's park, and now he's going to one of the premier pitchers parks, and that's a little scary. However, the Padres are going to put him in a position to succeed, and it's going to be platoony. Really not much of a platoon, particularly last year. He was actually better against righties than lefties, still below league average. But, a 701 OPS against righties isn't the worst thing you're ever going to see. But it does matter, where is he going to hit in the lineup? Where is he going to play defense, if he's playing defense at all? This is a strange Padres team, and I have plenty of questions about them, at least on Fangraphs depth charts. Castellanos is second at first base behind the aforementioned Gavin Sheets, and he is also third in left field and third in right field. I doubt he plays any right field with Fernando Tatis, so unless Tatis gets another PED suspension, hopefully Castellanos is not playing right field for you. And then he's second behind Miguel Andujar, who also signed this offseason with San Diego. So I don't think he'll have the biggest role. Can he come up and have some base hits and get a couple doubles here and there and drive in some runs? Sure, he can do that, but I hope he's not a focal point, or I hope the Padres don't try to make him a focal point. To his credit, he was a above league average hitter in both 23 and 24, and he played 319 games out of a possible 324. So there's something there, and there's something to be said about a guy who did drive in 70 runs last year and scored 70 times and did hit 17 homers. But the concerns are pretty glaring. Decent move if I'm San Diego, and San Diego has been reluctant to spend money this offseason, besides Michael King. They brought Michael King back. I think it's fine. Not going to be earth-shattering or anything, at least until the middle of May, when he's hitting 345 with 18 doubles.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Phillies had to get rid of him one way or another. It seemed like there were the clubhouse issues, obviously. The other thing was that you look at the life of his contract in Philly, and he was a league average hitter. This was a guy who the year before he signed in Philly had a 140 WRC plus. He got paid $20 million a year to be league average, which is not what you want to do, especially when you are pretty much a non-factor in the field. I mean, he was forced into action in right field because of Bryce Harper's injury. The reality was he was signed to be a DH. He got forced to play right field, didn't really play very well. Also, the character concerns for me, that article by Matt Gelb really revealed a lot. It sounded like he didn't really want to be in Philadelphia to begin with. And honestly, I was wondering if he would sign with a team in the National League East just to see if he could get back at them. The whole incident in Miami with the beer, I mean, it's one thing if you're a young player and you make a rookie mistake, but doing that as a 13-year veteran is not a good look. I'm curious to see how he transitions into that San Diego clubhouse, which, look, there are some egos in there too. All right. We've heard, all sorts of reports about Manny Machado and how he allegedly had beef with Fernando Tatis at one point, but seems like things have sort of smoothened out over there. From a baseball perspective, though, can't hurt to have him on a buy low deal. I mean, he'll be playing some first base. He'll probably be DHing a fair amount. If he platoons with Gavin Sheets, as long as Castellanos is willing to accept being a part-time player, I think he will do better in San Diego than he would in Philly. And that's crazy because Petco Park is not a hitter's park like Citizens Bank is. So I think from a baseball perspective, it's a fine move. I don't know if he'll be great at first base. I expect most of his at-bats to be at DH, but, I think honestly, maybe the, letting Luis Arias walk sort of helps the Padres here, because now you can, rotate guys in at first base and DH. So, I mean, it's not a bad signing from the Padres. I understand why the Phillies made this move to get rid of him and his contract. But honestly, it does. Yeah, like you were saying, Splash, it's not earth shattering, but no, it's all right. Let's see what this guy has left.
It's a buy low move. That's the best way to describe this. It is a buy low, bet on yourself, which that's honestly all you really need sometimes here. And we have seen it work time and time again. And Splash, like you brought up here, we could be potentially seeing some at least vibes of Jerks and Profar here. Like if they get anything close to what they got out of Profar, then this deal is going to look like they just pulled a lottery ticket out of the trash can. Like that's the main thing to take away, I think, on this is that there is very little risk to signing this deal because at that point he's taking up the league minimum in money at a roster spot. The roster spot arguably more valuable. So at that point it's more like, okay, you'd rather have a veteran there than just some young guy here, especially when you are competing against the Dodgers for the division. So yeah, honestly, I love the move. I think it makes sense, just like another move we're going to be talking about later.
Yeah, and I'll transition to that right now. Another guy betting on himself kind of here. Zach Gallen returning to the Diamondbacks on a 1-year deal worth the exact same amount as the qualifying offer, $22.05 million. Again, a guy coming off kind of the worst year of his career, I think it's fair to say. An ERA close to 5, but he showed flashes of his old self throughout the year. I mean, this guy is a former All-Star. He started the All-Star game in 2023. He was the ace of a Diamondbacks squad that won the National League pennant in 2023. Now, we heard almost nothing about his market. Sounded like it was pretty limited. He takes the 1-year deal to return to Arizona. It sounded like he had gotten multi-year offers, but wanted to stay in Arizona for now. But I'll go to Splash here first. What do you think about this move?
Yeah, this qualifying offer nonsense needs to be ironed out in the next CBA. I know there's bigger fish to fry, if you will, but it really stinks if you're Gallen and you've been a really good pitcher with the Diamondbacks, and then you have your worst half season of your career, and you can't go anywhere because you have this qualifying offer attached to him. If you're, say, Chris Bassett, who was a lower tier low, but he didn't have the quality, so he's much more enticing to the Baltimores of the world that eventually signed him. But teams that needed pitching, if you're going after a Framber Valdez or on the position player side, the Juan Sotos of the world, the Kyle Tuckers of the world, the high price, you don't care about the qualifying offer. The Dodgers don't care, right? The Mets don't care with Soto. But when it's Zach Gallen and you're wondering, is it worth $20 million and a draft pick? I don't know. He wasn't very good last year, and it was a bit of a first half, second half thing. In the first half, his ERA was about 5.5. In the second half, it was below 4, but even that kind of is a little goofy because it was above 5 in April, above 5 in May, above 6 in June, above 5 in July. Really good in August, 2.57, like vintage Gallen, striking out a batter per 9 or batter an inning nearly. And then September ERA back over 4. So like, there's a good month and a half, maybe. So he goes to a familiar place. Hopefully we get the qualifying offer nonsense ironed out in the next CBA. Like, I understand you want teams to benefit sort of like the compensation pick in the NFL that, if you develop a guy and he leaves, well, maybe get some compensation for him. But I don't love that it is taking a draft pick away from another team like that. So maybe you look at the NFL and do it more like how they do it with compensation picks, as opposed to taking away, for example, the Braves would have lost like the 26th pick in the draft to sign Zach Gallen. That makes no sense. I think Gallen's a decent bounce back opportunity, but I'm also concerned that he was never like that true like frontline guy. Like the stats were there at times, but he wasn't like dominant. He wasn't that Cy Young level pitcher. He wasn't as seriously considered to be in our top 5s over the years. And now you look at the peripherals that are average across the board, a little below average across the board. Besides, he gets ground balls and he has good extension. Everything else is in the blue on Baseball Savant. And I don't know. Let's just say I would not have been interested in the Braves signing him.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing and why we didn't see him sign earlier is because of the compensation pick stuff, which I do think that the MLB needs to get that figured out. I feel like that's obvious at this point, but also with the NFL doing it to where they also allow draft pick trading, maybe it's a little harder to allow in Major League Baseball. Not quite sure, but who knows? Anyway, one of the things I want to kind of bring up when it comes to Gallen here is that this is very much a bet on yourself type move. Again, this is a player that, Splash, you were saying that he's not a Cy Young guy. He's finished in the Cy Young voting in the top 10 3 times. He has also gotten MVP votes, which, fun. Here, go back to that insane 2023 season that he had there. But I can see exactly what you mean. Because on top of it, right, you take a look at the peripherals from 2022 to 2025. Well, at least the numbers on ERA, right? 2022, amazing 2.54 ERA. And incredible, cool. What more do you want? Goes up a little bit more the next year, but he's still great. Here at 3.47, goes up just a tad more, still good. And then 2025 has the jump of over 1 full point on the ERA. And that's something that does worry me. But at the same time, I'm also trying to figure out, is this a flash in the pan? Like, what's the reverse of a flash in the pan? Like a bump in the road? Maybe something like that?
Pouring salt on a grease fire?
Maybe.
Sure, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, fair enough. The reason why I say this is I'm looking right now at his baseball reference page. And I found this very interesting here. Over the course of his career from 2019 all the way until 2020, his ERA was never above 3. Then 2021 happens. First year after the pandemic, nobody knows what baseball is anymore, and has a bad-ish year, 4.30, which honestly is still not horrible. It's just not good, right? And then 2022, immediate bounce back, 2.54 ERA. Then 3.47, 3.65, and then a bad 2025. He's having this pattern here of having a good number of years in a row, one bad, right back to greatness. And am I saying he's going to be, 2023 or 2022 Zach Gallen? No. I do not think that is going to be happening, especially now going into his age 30 season. What I do think is going to happen, though, is that the Diamondbacks are going to have themselves a pretty darn solid rotational extra piece here that's going to be a number 2 guy competing for the number 1. Will he be the ace again? I don't know. I think there's a chance of it. I don't think that he is going to be, in the Cy Young voting this year. But will he? I doubt it, but possible. It's just about whether or not can he get back on track.
So I do think I shortchanged the Diamondbacks a little bit here. It's a great move for the Diamondbacks, to be clear. I just wasn't personally interested if I'm trying to sign Gallen and you give up the draft pick for him. Gallen slots back into the top of the rotation, ahead of Kelly, ahead of Fott, ahead of Nelson. And if you get anything out of Erod or Michael Soroka this year, or, hey, Corbin Burns, maybe a little bit of time at the end of the season, and Gallen, you plop him right on top. And this is the kind of move that I think puts the Diamondbacks back in serious playoff contention, not winning the division or anything, but could they get the 6th seed? Sure. And we saw them make a run to the World Series from the 6th seed previously. And with the previous Cy Young finishes, yes, Gallen does have 2 top 5s on his name. I would argue these are not all top 5s are created equal. Even in 2023, I think you would have a pretty solid argument of, was he the best? Snell was the best pitcher, clearly. But if you're ranking National League pitchers, would Gallen have been number 2, number 3, number 4? I mean, we came in the next year and we had Spencer Strider on the top 3, who finished behind Gallen and Cy Young voting. Just good pitcher. I just don't know if he was ever that elite guy. Like Corbin Burns was an elite guy on his own team in Arizona right now. Or there's been other Diamondbacks pitchers who have been elite. Brandon Webb, elite guy. Randy and Kurt Schilling, obviously. Madison Bumgarner was okay for a little bit. He hit the Braves once. Yikes. So.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Gallen's numbers, and over the years, he's constantly sort of outperformed his metrics. That's the thing, is that even in that 2023 season, his ERA was 3.47. His expected ERA is 4.20. His FIP was solid, 3.26. XFIP 3.49, but his 2022, he overperformed pretty significantly. 3.12 xERA, 3.31 xFIP. 2020, the shortened season, there were a number of red flags, sort of 2.75 ERA, but 3.67 xERA, 3.66 FIP, 3.62 xFIP. So he was sort of always overperforming his metrics, and this year he underperformed them. 4.28 xERA, 4.5 FIP, 4.12 xFIP. So there are some signs that he can bounce back in some ways. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be the ace of the staff. And Torey Lovullo has already announced Merrill Kelly will be the opening day starter. I know that doesn't mean he's the best pitcher on the team necessarily, but I think Gallen, it's a solid move for him and for the Diamondbacks. He gets to return to his old team, and the Diamondbacks get him for an extra year. He can prove his worth. Say the Diamondbacks, unfortunately, are struggling again. You can deal him at the deadline. But also, if he really balls out, he can get a solid multi-year deal. It looks like some teams were still interested in giving him a multi-year deal. I understand the draft pick risk. I get it. He's coming off the worst year of his career. Do you want to give up a draft pick for a guy like that? But he's still in his prime. I think he has room to improve. So I think that he's a solid bounce back candidate. And also, I want to say it probably says a lot about the Diamondbacks that both him and Merrill Kelly chose to re-sign with them. Kelly had been traded to the Rangers and decided to come right back to Arizona. And Gallen, had offers on the table from other teams and decided just to go back to the Diamondbacks. So it probably does say a lot about the organization. But,
and they did poach Corbin Burns last year.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we're almost sort of forgetting that this is a pretty talented Diamondbacks team. If Burns gets healthy, he could, help solidify this rotation if they make a run towards October. I'm not saying they're much more than a wild card team, but, the offense, I think, is decent even after losing Suarez and Naylor. I think that the pitching staff looks a bit better, a little more recognizable with some depth there. So I think overall the Diamondbacks, they're not going to be better than the Dodgers, obviously. I don't even know if they're going to be better than the Padres, but I think they're a team that can snag a wild card spot. But
yeah.
Anyways, a great question from XYZ Balling. How would you guys rank Arizona, San Diego, and San Francisco? That is a good one.
I mean, for me, I feel like this is fairly easy. I say San Diego's number one, followed by Arizona, then San Fran.
I think I sort of agree with you. I'm going to go San Diego. Pure talent-wise, I think they're above the rest. They're the second best team in the division. Then Diamondbacks, and then the Giants. Man, I don't know what to say about the Giants, guys. They're
doing things. They're doing things, all right.
I apologize to any Giants fans if you were watching, but this is looking like a team that will finish around 500 again, and I don't know how they can get any better right now.
I'm curious, why didn't they include the Dodgers or the Rockies from this division? Why?
Wait, the Dodgers? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Isn't that just what they used to call trolleys back in the day?
Exactly.
The tolls of trolleys. Yeah. They called them Dodgers, something like that.
I never heard of them.
They were called the Superbas back in the day.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Superbas.
Yeah. I think all three of these teams are going to finish with an 8 in the W column. Somewhere between 80 and 89. The Giants are going 81 and 81. We know that. Arizona and San Diego are like long lost cousins. Arizona's offense, I really like it. I do. Even I know Suarez is not there anymore. I still like it. Even with Carroll's hamate bone, they hit. They always outperform expectations. The Padres, they can really pitch. Pivetta, King, the bullpen is electric even without Robert Suarez. But the pitching for Arizona and the lineup for San Diego are lacking severely. And then San Francisco, I want to like San Francisco. I want to put San Francisco into that playoff hunt, but they have not exactly been good at baseball the last few seasons. Interesting bringing in the Tennessee head coach or Tennessee manager. Who knows? I guess there's some upside there. Maybe apparently he connected well with Matt Chapman, so that helps in the clubhouse. And that's what matters when you're jumping from dealing with college kids to dealing with grown men. So maybe the Giants win 107 games inexplicably again. Who knows?
So Splash, I gotta say though, you left out when you were talking about teams that will finish with an 8 in the win column. You left out the Rockies again, and I don't know if I agree with that. Here, I have a lot of hope that the Rockies can get to 8 wins. They can finish at an 8-1.
Oh yeah, of course, 8 wins. Yeah, there we go.
All of them are going to be at Coors Field, by the way.
Of course.
No. Watch how all of their wins are going to be against the Dodgers in LA somehow, but everywhere else they just can't play baseball. They just forget.
Was it the Rockies that had a 500 record against the Dodgers after the All-Star break?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah,
they
beat them pretty badly at Coors Field. I know.
Okay, there were some goofy stats.
It was so weird. Yeah,
gotta love Rocky fans though. They're great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the only game I went to at Coors Field. I had a great time, and the Rockies. I mean, no matter how good or bad their team is, they draw 30,000 fans a game. They average more fans per game than some playoff teams, which is crazy. It's a great ballpark to spend your afternoon or evening at. So,
I got to a handful of games over there, especially when I was working in Colorado for a bit.
Oh yeah.
So it's really a nice place to take in a baseball game from. There's no bad seat in the house.
Yeah, I recommend for anyone who's trying to stadium chase like myself, Coors Field is definitely up there in my opinion. But anyways, we're going to move over. We're going to continue our positional rankings. Obviously, I was absent last week, but we are doing center fielders today. Kind of a weird position. I think there's a definitive number one. There's a little more depth in left field, but still not a ton of superstar power. But let's dive in. Who here wants to go first, starting with our number 5 center fielder?
I'll go first, I guess.
Yeah.
Here. So here's the thing. I struggled a lot with this list. I really did. Because after number 1, I was like, okay, what now though? Like, because this is not a knock to anyone else, but there is a definitive number 1. So there's a couple of names I did not include on this list. I'd like to give some honorable mention to. O'Neal Cruz. I like him a lot. I think I like him a lot more than others do. Maybe that's just because I really like his swing and it'll be the show. Who knows?
Fair.
Rafaela, I don't have him in my top 5. He just missed the cut here, but it's mostly because I want to see more from him here. So we're going into my number 5. It is the one Michael Harris of the Braves. Now look, I like him. Please, for the love of everything, learn to walk a little bit. Please, when you are projected to walk less than 5% of the time, that is less than 1 walk in 20 at-bats. That's abysmal. That is abysmal. Not to mention that he has a projected strikeout rate of 20%, meaning that by the time he draws that first walk, he will have struck out 4 times. If I think, is that how math works? I think that's how math works. Mm-hmm, but there is one.
The denominator's off there, but that's fine.
Yeah,
close enough.
But there's one thing that does help him a lot, and that's his defense. His defense is not, at like the PCA level. Spoiler alert. I'll be talking about him later. But he still has solid defense out there alongside Acuna out and right. He is not the best player ever, obviously, but we have seen flashes of him being absolutely brilliant over the last few years. It's just about, can he stay healthy? And can the bat please stay maybe on the shoulder just a little bit more? Just a little bit more. It's okay. We promise. We promise it'll be okay, Michael Harris.
Yeah, so I'll go into my number 5. Some honorable mentions. Michael Harris is probably the first one off for me. He showed some signs of life in the second half. He had a red hot month of August, but then kind of cooled off again. The on-base percentage being below 250 is alarming. I know that he's always been a guy who chases a lot, but that is really concerning. Trent Grisham, I wasn't comfortable putting in my top 5. I'm not sure if he'll be able to maintain his offensive level of play, but I also think his defense will go back up a little bit. But yeah, he's off for me. O'Neal Cruz, I am still an O'Neal Cruz believer. I need to see him do something great over a full season. And Luis Robert, I think he's going to be better with the change of scenery. again, I need to see him return to that elite level before I put him in the top 5. So my number 5, and I am not very comfortable with this, and this is probably going to make some people angry. I put Dalton Varsho at number 5. Now, you might be wondering, all right, Dalton Varsho, like, what are you even talking about? There's no way he's a top 5 center fielder. But you look at his numbers in 71 games. I know, small sample size. He 20 homers, drove in 55 runs, and had 2.2 F/WAR in only 71 games. That is under half a season. I mean, he strikes out a lot. He doesn't walk a lot, but slugged 548. That's better than most center fielders. He's a solid defensive outfielder. He can cover a lot of ground. And remember, this is a guy who was a former catcher. The fact that he's turned into a solid big league center fielder is really impressive. I mean, he might not be a platinum glove caliber outfielder anymore, but he still put up 9 outs above average, like I said, in under half a season. So he's still pretty good out there. So I think Dalton Varsho, as long as he stays healthy, he will be a top 5 center fielder this year. So I have him at number 5.
All right, fellas. So I'm going to my number 5. But first, for me, 5 through 11 are the same player. They all are plus defensively, some variation from 60 grade to 80 grade, arguably as good as you've ever seen. They all don't walk, besides O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz started walking. Congratulations. They are all somewhere between like an 80 OPS plus and a 115 OPS plus, and that's just depending on if they're making contact or not, because like I said, they don't walk besides O'Neal Cruz. So 5 through 11 in some order. I'll spoiler alert: Ceddanne Rafaela, Dalton Varsho, Michael Harris, O'Neal Cruz, Harrison Bader, Andy Pages, and Jackson Merrill. For me, that's just 5 through 11. Number 5, Jackson Merrill. Down year last year, compared to his all-world rookie season. Batting average was down, on base was down, slugging was down, strikeouts were up. I will say the walks went up a little bit. He still doesn't walk like crazy, but in this group of players that don't ever walk, he was more middle of the pack than bad, I would say. He still chases a lot. However, he's still really good defensively. The arm took a big step up. Remember, he is a shortstop playing center field, so the hose plays. Am I a little concerned that the quality of contact went down? The average exit velo went down. The barrel rate went up a little bit, which is nice. But there's just some stuff in the profile that I don't love. I don't love just all across the board it's down. There's very few of the StatCast stuff that went up. Like I said, barrel rate went up. Outside of that, everything else down the drain. Walk rate went up a little bit. Again, other than that, it was down across the board. Really talented player. He's only 22. He's still learning center field. Remember, he didn't play any center field coming through with the Padres minor league system. And yeah, could he be the best player on the Padres this season? Sure, that's on the table.
And then why don't you roll into your number 4 then?
Sure. My number 4, I noticed a stunning lack of him not being on either of your lists. That is the guy who actually does walk, Trent freaking Grisham. He doesn't play defense anymore. That's a shame. But he actually does walk. It's crazy. It's genuinely, unbelievable. 14% walk rate last year. Had an 812 OPS, 348 on base. That'll absolutely play. Has great pop, and it works for Yankee Stadium. He optimized pulling the ball in the air. So on Baseball Savant now, there's a pull air column, and gets read when it's you pull more fly balls, and Grisham pulls a lot of fly balls, and that can lead to a lower batting average when they aren't homers. But when they are homers, they're called runs, and runs are good. A 23.5% pull air percentage. That is getting to be excellent. He absolutely demolished fastballs, plus 12 run value last year. Expected slug of 573, a hard hit percentage of 56%. Am I worried the defense is going to continue to be buns? Yeah, actually, I am. But he walks. He doesn't chase. He makes great swing decisions. He swings the ball or swings the bat somewhat hard. He makes great contact. 14% barrel rate, 498 expected slug, average exit velo over 91 miles per hour. That has gone up essentially his entire career. He is really, along with Cody Bellinger from our left fielder list, they have mastered playing at Yankee Stadium. And you look at Grisham's spray chart, and it's just littered with 360-foot home runs to right field. And yeah, those are home runs in a lot of ballparks. I will give you that. But optimizing the contact quality is great. Again, I'm worried that the defense that used to be elite, he used to be a Gold Glove level player, 32nd percentile outs above average, 32nd percentile sprint speed. Yeah, I'm a little worried with that. But the batting, hoo-wee, it's good.
Yeah, and look, I'm really impressed by the year Grisham had. This is a guy who most Yankee fans wanted nothing to do with after 2024, and he really showed up and had a great year. I mean, I definitely did not expect him to hit over 30 home runs last year. I know that some of the defense might be related to playing through a hamstring injury, so I think the defense could creep back up a little bit, but long term, I don't expect him to be this excellent defensive center fielder anymore. But I considered putting him in my top 5. I really, really did, but he just missed the cut for me. Him and Harris were my first 2 off. So anyway, let's move along. Why don't we go to Alex here? Alex, who's your number 4 center fielder?
All right, so for my number 4 center fielder, I decided to go with a player that I know a lot of us have had a lot of hope for a while now. And when he's healthy, is still one of the best in the game. The problem is health has never been there, and that's one Mr. Byron Buxton.
Oh, my, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Byron, legitimately, you just look at the on paper, and this dude is one of the best in the business. The problem is he can never stay healthy for a full season. And does that mean that, he shouldn't be on this list? Honestly, probably, yeah. Why do I have him at number 4? Copium. It's 100% Copium. I want him to do well because, again, I'm sorry to sound like Splash from like 3 years ago here. That
all right, man.
He is healthy. He is one of the best. It's about whether or not he could just stay healthy. Here, I don't know what else more there is to say. Everybody knows that he has the speed. He's got the pop. He's got the defense. He's got all of that. Can he stay on the field, please?
Yeah, I mean, Buxton is an immense talent. Trust me, I have him on my list. He's not my number 4, though. My number 4, I have Jackson Merrill. Merrill, bit of a disappointing year, I'll admit it. But still, 116 WRC+, still not bad. He did deal with an injury. He missed 47 games this year, so only 115 games. But still, 16 homers, 67 RBIs. That walk rate did go up. And while, some of the batted ball numbers were not great. They did take a bit of a step back, but you look at his expected stats, still a 263 expected batting average, which is basically just in line with what he hit. He had 264, 490 expected slugging compared to a 457 actual slugging, and then a 347 x WOBA compared to a 331 WOBA, which I know all those numbers are down from the year before, but overall, he's still a well above average baseball player. I'm expecting him to be in the middle of this San Diego lineup, that he's going to be one of the centerpieces. It'll be him, Machado, and Tatis, and you can throw in guys like Cronenworth and Castellanos and all that. But I think that Merrill is still a super talented player. Remember, he's only 22. He didn't play any AAA. He didn't play any outfield. Still, even in this sort of disappointing year, 2 outs above average, not bad for a guy who was a shortstop basically his entire career until that point. I think he's doing basically everything the Padres could ask for out of him. So I have him at number 4. I really considered putting him higher, actually, but I'm going to roll into my number 3, and this might be aggressive here, but my number 3 is Pete Crow Armstrong. I can't tell if I'm overrating him or I'm underrating him here. Look, the second half struggles are a bit concerning, all right? He chases a lot. His walk rate was only 4.5%. His strikeout rate was 24%. But you look up and down his stats, 31 homers and 35 steals. So he's a 30-30 guy. He slugged 481. He still put up a 109 WRC plus and was excellent in center field. This dude can track down basically anything. I mean, seriously, this is, it reminds me of Kevin Kiermaier when he played center field for the Rays. A guy who's going to be denying some great center fielders some hardware because of how good he is. I mean, 21 outs above average this year. That is elite. He had 13 the year before in a smaller sample size. So He's great defensively. His bat took a huge step forward this year, even if it struggled in the second half. If he puts together a great full season at the plate, and I'm not just talking about the counting stats, I'm talking getting that WRC plus up to 120 or 130, he might be the best center fielder in baseball. But yeah, I can't tell if I'm being too aggressive here. I know some people might have him outside their top 5 just because he's still too young. But I think 3 is perfectly reasonable for right now. And again, we could be having a very different conversation next year.
I'll immediately go into mine here because I also have PCA at number 3. And yeah, the second half was very alarming, very eye-raising when it comes to PCA. But the reason why he made this list, and as high as he has made this list, the dude is defensively the best. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong here. I still think that Julio is incredible defensively here and is, in my humble opinion, the best defensive center fielder in the American League. But PCA is just in another level. Watching him play, he plays with a reckless abandon that rivals like what Ken Griffey Jr. used to do back in the day. But he has more speed than Jr. did. This is a guy that can track, like, he could be in right center field and make a play on a fly ball in left center field here before the ball lands. He's a guy that can start at the warning track and catch a small blooper here just behind second base, just behind the dirt. That's how good he is defensively. Offensively, we've seen that he has the ability to. We have seen him hit mammoth home runs. We have seen him put the ball in play and then just leg out singles and doubles. The problem is he chases a lot. He just strikes out so much. Funny enough, though, not the highest strikeout projected, at least on my list. That belongs to Byron Buxton. But I still, when you look at him, he has the tools. And he shows it in in what I think is still one of the most needed defensive positions in center field. Here, that's the one where you need speed. And brother, PCA got speed. But it's really just a question of whether or not he can cut back on the chasing and just wait on a few pitches. Just like with Michael Harris. If you can wait on a few pitches, you will get better pitches to hit. Just learn a little bit of patience, and you will go far.
All right, fellas, how I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. PCA is also my number 3. MVPCA, that kind of fell off in the second half. But you know what? It happens. What value I think PCA brings is to the discussion around WAR and why WAR is valuable. You look at the 247 average and the 287 on base, you're like, that's not good. But consider he is one of the best base runners in the game. He is one of the best fielders, regardless of position, and then he plays up the defensive spectrum at center field. Not catcher, not shortstop, but close enough. So when he has a 5-win season on baseball or on Fangraphs, 5.4, that is awesome. Like, I know the counting stats are pretty good. 30-30, of course, 90 runs, 90 RBI. The slash line, not wonderful. Like, it compares disfavorably to other players considered at the center fielder list, but he is so good defensively, such a good base runner. The only thing stopping PCA is himself with his swing decisions and the wind, because he gets lost in the Wrigley wind sometimes. So just imagine for a moment if PCA played in, I don't know, Milwaukee or Tampa or Arizona, he'd probably have 75 defensive runs saved, not having to deal with wind every night. But PCA is an incredible talent. Hopefully he jumps up higher on the list, because that would mean he breaks through another ceiling as a hitter. That means he's walking more. That means he's making more quality contact. You know, he's a guy that was 44th percentile expected WOBA last year. That's not great, but 78th percentile expected slug, 82nd percentile barrel rate. And he's a elite defensive center fielder, like Max said, a Kevin Kiermaier type, a Ken Griffey type. You know, I'm not going to say a certain Kurosawan that's about to go to the Hall of Fame, but he is tremendous defensively.
Yeah, I mean, PCA, I think if he, like I said, if he gets his offense up to like 120 WRC plus, he probably becomes number one on this list. For now, I think he has a lot of room to grow. Remember, he's still in his early 20s. I remember when the Mets drafted him and traded him for Javier Baez, which was already seemed like a short-sighted move, and it's kind of just proven more and more that they probably should have held on to him instead of trading him for a rental. That they probably could have accomplished that without trading him. But regardless, I mean, he's really turned into an elite talent. But let's move on. Let's go to Alex for his number 2 center fielder.
I am very high on this player here, and I'm a little surprised here, but at the same time, I get it here. For me, I have one Jackson Merrill. Like, I really think this dude is insanely good. So I won't bring up something here. I've talked a lot about how when we have a good player, I don't like to put them on after their rookie year, usually unless they're absolute anomaly, saying that I want to see them prove it, right? And there's something that we have in baseball called the sophomore slump. The sophomore slump is very real with a lot of players here, where their first year will just dominate, and then the second year, the scouting report gets out on them, and they don't do as well. We're seeing that a little bit here with Merrill. Again, 2024 was an incredible year. Finished second in the Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger, All-Star, got MVP votes here. Like, the dude was nuts. And then this year, not quite as good. Like, the power went down pretty significantly here, 24 home runs to 16 home runs, and the OPS dropped a good bit. But here's the thing. I still think that him as a player, this is going to be the defining year for him. Because, again, after the first 2 years, that's when we start to see what a player can really do. Because now you don't have the rookie, the anonymous rookie who you don't have the scouting report on, and then you don't have a young kid here who now has having to realize that I have these issues. How do I overcome them? And that's a very big thing for a lot of players to do. A lot of great players have had pretty terrible second seasons only to come back and be MVPs. Do I think he's going to be the MVP of the National League? No, because someone named Shohei Ohtani exists. But at the same time, I still think there's a very real chance that this year the power surges right back up and he's going to get MVP votes. I don't think not for first place, obviously, but he'll get a share at least here. But I think when you look at this guy, he has all the tools. He plays a solid defense. He has really good offense when he has everything working right for him. There's not really a negative that I can find on this guy. It's just not always being at the top number 1 level. Fangraphs projects him to be the second best center fielder in terms of WAR. Here, only behind one certain person that I think we all have at number 1. But I don't know. Something about me, something my gut is telling me that this guy is going to absolutely shoot himself out of a cannon this season here. Do I think that he's going to be MVP? No, because Shohei Ohtani exists. I've already said this. I want to see what he can do now that we've had the rookie year out of the way and the sophomore year out of the way. Let's see what he does with year 3.
Yeah, and I think that Merrill could probably go anywhere from 2 to 5 on this list. I really, really believe that his rookie year was not a fluke. I think he's a super, super talented player. Like PCA, he's young. I mean, this is a guy who skyrocketed through the minors. I didn't expect him to be on the opening day roster in 2024, and he just stayed in the majors. Like he never has played a single game in AAA, and now he's an established big leaguer. And I do expect him to sort of take another step forward this year. But I'll go into my number 2. I have Byron Buxton. I'm really, really glad I get to put him this high this year. We always look for, can this guy just play even 100 games? We know how talented he is, but he did. He stayed on the field for 126 games, hit 35 homers, stole 24 bases, won a Silver Slugger, put up an OPS above 870, which is great, 878. That's a 136 WRC plus. I mean, this was, I think, the most complete season of his career. He finally was able to play, like I said, over 110 games even, which is great. He put up 5 Fangraphs WAR, which is a career high. he still chases a decent amount, but he did cut back on it a bit. His defense isn't elite anymore, but he still was above average by outs, above average. So I think, it also says a lot that he is not going to waive his no trade clause and he wants to stay in Minnesota. So I respect that a lot. But this is a guy, there are a lot of teams that would want to trade for him, and I can't blame them. But finally, he stayed healthy, relatively healthy this year. And we saw what he's capable of doing. So Byron Buxton is at number 2. There probably is a conversation to be had a little bit. Like, if he puts together another great season, could he be number 1? But yeah, Byron Buxton feels pretty good to say that he's the number 2 center fielder.
All right, fellas, I'm going to challenge conventional math here. I have 3 players that I'm ranking inside the top 2. Their names are Byron Buxton, first half Julio Rodriguez, and second half Julio Rodriguez. As Alex can testify, first half Julio and second half Julio are distinct players. First half Julio is probably 3 on the list or 4 on the list. Like, he's a good player. Like, he's a good player. He's great defensively, great base runner, but he can't hit. It's sort of like very PCA of him. In the second half, he becomes Jesus Christ himself. He is OPS above 900 for his career in the second half. In 3 out of 4 seasons, he is OPS above 900 in the second half. First half, his OPS is above 800 just once, and that was his rookie first half. Byron Buxton, his concern is he going to be on the field? And in 2025, he was on the field. And in 2025, he was awesome. He received MVP votes for the first time since the COVID season. He qualified for the batting title in a full season for the first time since 2017. He had 4.9 baseball reference WAR in 126 games. That is on pace to do better than anything else that any of these other guys have done. And when Byron Buxton is on the field, he is the best center fielder. Unless it's in the second half, then Julio is. But that's a 50-50 chance. So this is Schrodinger's center fielder, Byron Buxton 1, Julio Rodriguez 2. Again, in the second half, Julio clears by a tier. It's like watching peak Buxton. It's like watching 2021 Buxton with how good Julio is defensively and as a base runner and the power. I'm hoping this is, I hope Buxton plays 150 games. I hope second half Julio shows up the whole season. I hope first half PCA shows up the whole season. Imagine how good a first half PCA plus second half Julio would be. That might win the MVP over Aaron Judge. I hope like all these players reach their peaks. I think Buxton's peak is like special, a Hall of Fame level player. And I think Julio, can we figure out the first half stuff? Like Byron Buxton's never a bad baseball player, never an average baseball player when he's on the field. His issue is being on the field. Julio can be an average baseball player for half a season. Then he becomes, again, Jesus Christ himself in the second half. So it's Schrodinger's 1 and 2. Sorry, Alex.
Honestly, no, I'm okay with you doing that. If anything, just because it makes me feel a lot more sane for putting Byron Buxton as high as I did and saying I'm starting to sound like Splash. You very much reclaimed your place, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, Byron Buxton's just awesome, man. He does everything. He hits
absolutely.
I wish he walked a little bit more. That I went in the wrong direction. The one thing that went in the wrong direction, because he walked at a 10% clip in 2023. So I wish he walked a little bit more and maybe struck out a little bit less. But when you ISO 287, you know what? Do whatever you want to do, man. I just be healthy. I love watching Byron Buxton play. He is a truly, truly special player. He is 29.8 WAR in 3,400 plate appearances. Just a 5.4 per 162. So just a special player. I can pull up the center fielder comparisons all time. That is something ridiculous. That is not quite something out of Star Wars, but it's quite ridiculous the things he can do on a baseball diamond. And the historical comps, 5.4 WAR per 162. Lenny Dykstra, good player, is above Kenny Lofton, above Ken Griffey Jr. Caveat there that Griffey had a lot of years that were much better. So take that for what it's worth. Ahead of Duke Snyder, Earl Averill, Earl Combs, some Hall of Famers there. Andrew Jones, Kirby Puckett. Is he a better player than Kirby Puckett? Probably.
Honestly, it's a conversation to be had. Again, look, I'm not surprised that that you put Buxton number one, because it was, again, one of those things where, like, offensively, he was better than Julio this year. It's just, again, if he stays on the field, I feel like he would have been number one probably like 5 years ago now. I mean, I think this year is like this, or 2025 was what could have happened if he had stayed healthy in 2021, because he had a monster year in 2021, but he only played 60 games. He played 126 games. Sure, his OPS wasn't as high, but he still hit 35 home runs, still 24 bases, was solid enough in center field. So I'm going to go to my number one center fielder, and obviously, I think we all figured out it is Julio Rodriguez. I believe if I'm not mistaken, I had him at number one last year. Again, that first half was hard to watch. Being straight up, he made the All-Star game. I don't know if he should have been there, but in the second half, he proved that he is an All-Star. Overall, a 126 WRC plus, 5.7 F4, 32 homers, 95 RBIs, 30 steals. His second 30-30 season. He's been at least 20-20 in all four of his major league seasons. He is 21.2 total F4 for his career. That's averaging over 5 per season. He's never cleared 6, but he's been at least 4 in every season. So he's consistently a good big leaguer. His strikeout rate went down, career low, 21.4%. That's encouraging. His StatCast numbers, he actually underperformed some of them. 274 expected batting average, 43 expected slug, 348 xWOBA. So there's actually proof that he has room to grow still. And I think what some people might be forgetting is that he's only 25. That was his 4th big league season, but he's still young. He hasn't even reached his prime yet. So when everyone piles on him, when he struggles early in the season, I think we're sort of forgetting this is still a young player. He's still improving throughout his years. So, his defense, it's not necessarily elite per se, but or like in the PCA territory. That's what I mean. He's still at 10 outs above average. That's very strong. He's just, it surprises me that he doesn't have more hardware to him, honestly. Put together a full season without that weird slow start, we're looking at an MVP candidate. So Julio, I have him at number one, and I'm very confident in saying that.
Yeah, so here's what I had to say real quick. He's obviously Julio's number one for me. This is not a question that anyone would have here. This is more of a comment of something that Splash said. Because, like I said, I'm okay with what you did here. The other Julio. The one thing I want to say is you said it's about a 50-50 about whether or not you're getting first half Julio or second half Julio. To me, it feels like it's a 50-50 chance we're going to see Buxton play 75 games in a season. Like, come on. But anyway, no.
Okay, fair. And also, in fairness to Julio, the first half is a longer section of the season than the second half. But
this is absolutely true. I will absolutely concede that here. But yeah. Anyway, regardless here, no attacks on, honestly. There is not another center fielder quite like Julio Rodriguez. There really is not right now in baseball. He does not have the defensive PCA, but he doesn't chase like PCA. He does not have, some of the offensive capabilities. He doesn't have the fast start that a lot of players have, but you know what he does have? Overall, the best hitting ability of any center fielder in baseball. Like, this is not a question anymore at this point. Like, for years, we've been talking about, is Julio going to finally put it all together? In 2025, we saw him basically put it all together. Yes, did he have a weak start of the season? Absolutely. But even that week, like you said, Splash, even that week first half still puts him probably number 4 on people's lists of top center fielders in baseball. That is better than your Michael Harris on my list here. But at the same time, that's not even a knock on Michael Harris. It's not a knock on you. That's just me proving the point here. Julio Rodriguez, when we watch him play, I'm lucky enough in Seattle to get to watch him play 162 games here. Or, sorry, almost that. But I don't know what more we need to say about him at this point. He hits the ball a ton. He gets on base. He steals bases. Defensively, he is a Gold Glove level defensive outfielder. Is he number one? No, because PCA is just like a cheat code out of a video game. But does that make him bad at all? No. In my humble opinion, he is the second best defensive center fielder in all of baseball. Like, sorry to anyone that disagrees with that. I'm right. Like, Julio, watching him play, he plays with a swagger to him that he has now earned. It's so weird to think about that he's only 25. He's a bab. He is young. He has not even had... It's so weird to think about that 2022 is when we signed him to this mega long deal. And people were talking about this is either going to be the biggest flop or the biggest boom in Mariner history. And right now we're starting to see that it might be that boom. Julio has been absolutely outstanding. He is the face of the franchise now, which, again, Seattle has struggled to find that face of the franchise since King Felix left. So, what do you need him to do? You need him to play good defense, hit the ball well, and be a leader on the team. And guess what he's doing? Checks notes, all of that. And on top of it, he knows he's not even the number one leader. He works with other players on the team to let them do what they need to do. That's good leader work right there too, is a leader serves. So with that being said, back to the stats here a little bit. Projected. I just want to bring this up here. Projected on Fangraphs here going into 2026. The next closest to him in offensive WAR is my number 2, Jackson Merrill. And it is by well over 10 full offensive WAR points. 10. Right now, Julio is projected at 25.9. Jackson Merrill at 15.1. Defensively, you take a look at at all the defensive outfielders. Well, sorry, center fielders, right? And defensively, no shock to anybody, PCA is number 1. Here, number 2 is Rafaela, who, again, please just offensively work. If you could work, that'll be great. Number 3 is also the best offensive center fielder. It's Julio Rodriguez. He checks every box that you want and that you need. Just please, for the love of everything, have a first half that is like your second half. Do not be Reggie Gigas or Pokemon with slow start, please. Here,
God,
there's a reason why I ruined
reference,
Reggie Gigas. Yeah. Here, just be Julio all the time.
What if he's slaking? Like,
no,
Truant?
Please don't be slacking with Truant. That's somehow worse.
Yeah,
at least with slow start, you can use substitute to get through a few turns.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I mean, I think Julio's an excellent player, and I think between him and Cal Raleigh, like the Mariners have, they've given out 2 great contracts. I think they were aggressive with Julio. All right, they gave him that when he was 21, and he's, I think so far, I mean, they don't. Obviously, he's gotten them further into the playoffs, but I think so far he's earned every penny of it. We have a long way to go there, but anyway, those are our top 5 center fielders. Let us know what you think at LAR_baseball on Twitter. Maybe you're watching this live on YouTube or you're commenting on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, by the way. Hit that like button. But yeah, those are, let us know. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think that, I don't know, Carson Bench is already the number 1 center fielder in baseball. But anyways,
I mean, the New York Mets already think that New York Mets fans think that Louis Bob is going to be number 1 this year after a fresh coat of paint. So
yeah, I've been seeing some interesting takes on that. But anyway, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. It's time for trivia. Splash has that one prepared today, so take it away.
Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Phil Sims, yada yada. We're doing a riff on a classic. Fellas, I have an immaculate grid from a few months ago, maybe. I just picked a random number. Sorry, Mac, your team is not represented here. Sorry. However, you guys, instead of playing immaculate grid like we like to do and pull the craziest names, pull the the 0.1% and the 0.03%. We are doing sort of like a reverse immaculate grid, I guess. You are trying to find the number one guest player at each spot, and you're going to play tic-tac-toe. So, Mac, please choose a number between 1 and 50.
10.
Alex.
11.
The number is 20. Alex, you may go first.
Okay.
And for those listening on podcast, this is grid number 897. The columns are the Rangers, Dodgers, and played outfield. The rows are Braves, Mariners, and played catcher. Alex, you may proceed.
All right. So, and we're playing tic-tac-toe with this, essentially?
Correct. Yes, tic-tac-toe.
All right. I really hope we don't get a Cats game immediately. All right. I'm going to take center square then, I think, here by both player on Seattle and with the Dodgers. I'm going to say Adrian Beltre.
Adrian Beltre, 20% is correct.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, wait. Okay. Right. Question here.
Yes.
Are we supposed to, because there's a chance that, there are multiple players that are the most common answers in multiple squares. What do we do in that case?
Don't worry about it this time. I have the actual list pulled up. There are not any duplicates.
I have a feeling because in Immaculate Grid you can only use one player name per square. This is tic-tac-toe with it, where it's almost more like trivia. Each question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you can have the same player at multiple because we're not getting the player; we're just answering the question.
Yeah, for example, when they've done some Negro Leagues ones, like say Willie Mays might be an answer for two of them, or Josh Gibson might be an answer for two, or the most common response for two of them. But you can't have that in the same grid, and none of these are duplicates. None of the actual answers are duplicates. All right, Mac, your turn.
All right, I'm gonna go top right. I'm gonna go with Andrew Jones.
That is not the most common.
All
right. It was my answer when I filled out. Never mind. It was not my answer when I filled out the grid. Alex,
I'm actually going to try and take that spot here because I think the answer for that, the common answer is going to be one Mr. Ronald Acuna.
That is correct. My glorious king, the MVP. Yes, that is correct. All right.
Mac, this is my specialty, thinking very basic.
All right, I'm going to go Rangers catcher then, bottom left. I'm going to go with Pudge Rodriguez.
That is correct, 30%.
All right, yeah, I was going to say I'm going to lose it if that's not.
By the way, Ronald was 13% for Braves outfielder. All right, Alex, you successfully blocked. Can you take the initiative?
So, in tic-tac-toe strategy, there's two possible moves that I can do that would be the correct move. Shall we say here?
Sure.
The problem is I'm trying to figure out which one do I feel most confident in trying to actually get the best answer for. Because I'll just say it right now, bottom right-hand corner, there's a lot of names that can be there. I'm going to go for that bottom right-hand corner of play catcher minimum one game, playing the outfield minimum one game. And I'm going to go with a guy that people love watching. He's still active. That's Kyle Schwarber.
That is not the most common answer.
That was going to be my guess.
Okay, right. Cool.
Mac, back to you.
Okay. Now I got to do some thinking. I'm going to go Dodgers played catcher. Will Smith?
The World Series hero is correct. Will Smith.
Let's go.
All right. Alex, back to you.
Right. I'm going to I have to do played catcher and played outfield for the block. Oh, who would it be then? That famously played both catcher and outfield at least one time in their career. There's a billion players that have done it. Because here's the thing. I could not go for it and then force Mac on something else. Well, not force him. Yeah. But that would be making sure that he gets the win. It's like that he thinks he can get it here.
Yeah, for the sake of transparency, there are 1,127 players that fit that criteria.
I figured.
Yeah,
you do have to get the number one though.
Yeah,
so that's the tough part.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Played catcher and played outfield. Like he famously has done both. and it's not Schwarber. Okay. I'm gonna bet that Mac doesn't have this.
Ooh.
Here, I'm gonna go Mariners and played outfield one game. I'm gonna say Ichiro.
Ichiro is not the answer.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there.
I'm actually surprised.
All right,
Mac.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here for catcher outfielder, because I know he famously moved to the outfield. Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra is not correct. Alex, back to you.
All right, Mariner and outfield. Please tell me it's Griffey.
It is not Griffey.
What are you talking about? What are these dumb people talking about?
Mac, back to you.
I'm still lost on this whole outfield catcher thing. Because God, I would have thought it was Schwarber, but it's not Schwarber. Berra pretty famously moved to the outfield, and it wasn't Berra. Oh my God. This is gonna drive me insane, I think. You know what? I'm completely lost here, actually. I don't know if this is right, but I don't even know if he played both, but I'm gonna go with Martin Digo.
That is not correct.
Darn.
Okay. Mariners have played outfield
Alex.
one game, Julio.
That is not correct either.
What are you talking about?
What?
And Mac, yes, Martin Digo did play both. Just FYI. All right, Mac, back to you.
Oh my God, this is gonna drive me insane.
I am actually angry. I am tilted right now.
Hang on. I think I have a guess here.
Okay.
Johnny Bench.
It is not Johnny Bench.
What?
Alex.
Okay, I'm gonna go for the play catcher now because this name just came to me. Craig Biggio?
Yes, that is correct.
Darn it!
No! Let's go!
Mac. Unbelievable. All right. So, Alex, you have multiple ways of winning. Mac, your turn.
Oh God! Now I have to find a place to block him.
Biggio was 12%, by the way.
How did I mess that up? I'm still lost here.
I don't know how I came up with that one. Jeez.
I put Dale Murphy in that spot.
That's a good one.
All right, so we already established that it's not Griffey or Ichiro or Julio for Mariners outfield.
I'm gonna keep going for this until I get it or Matt gets it. I'm just letting you know that.
I'm gonna go with Mike Cameron then.
Yeah,
that is not Mike Cameron.
Okay,
Alex.
Like, what the hell? Like, I don't get it at this point. Like,
I can't help you with my answer because my answer was a 0.3 on that grid.
I'm just curious, what was your answer on that one?
Willie Bloomquist.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, nice.
I love him.
Can't remember who I put.
Let's see. It's not Ichiro. It's not Griffey. It's not Julio.
So
it's not Cameron. I only have a few more names that I'm like even remotely confident that it could be here. This is honestly tough. Okay, Raul Ibanez.
It is not Raul Ibanez.
I think I have an answer.
All right, Mac.
But the way things are going, it probably isn't the answer. Jay Buhner.
Jay Buhner is correct.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
All right, that's a block. Alex, you can still win. You have one path to win.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember, honestly, any players that play for.
Or you can do Rangers and Mariners and tell Mac he can't win.
That would be really funny. Because I think I know the answer to that one as well.
Oh, boy.
Well, actually, no, you actually gave away the answer for that. That doesn't work anymore. I was going to say Beltre, but you said earlier that
there are no duplicates.
There's no duplicates. So, okay. All right. So who played for both Texas and the Braves? And it's a famous player. One that everyone knows and loves. Our king.
I don't know about that one.
I know.
I will follow up after the podcast.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's go with... I don't remember. Did he play for Texas? We're at the part of it where now it's like honestly tough. Now
this player was 22%.
22%. Okay, so the obvious. What the heck? Who's currently on right now? That would also be. Did Eddie Rosario play for the Rangers?
Not as far as I'm aware. That would be incorrect.
Okay.
Splash, I think you gave it away because I'm going to say the answer here. It is Mark Teixeira.
It is Mark Teixeira.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just fumbled that one away.
All right. So now, Alex, you cannot win.
Yep. And so now I have to get Mariners in Texas.
Yes.
For a block.
Winning. Yeah.
And you already said it wasn't Beltran. So, like, that's the number one that I think of.
That's the one that I was thinking of too. Yeah.
Okay. So it has to be Seattle and Texas.
Yes.
Seattle and Texas. I'm going to say Cliff Lee.
That is not correct.
Okay.
Mac for the win.
Okay. For the win. Mariners in Texas. I'm trying to think of famous players who played for both. Because Adrian Beltre was the first name that popped in my head. Which is not great, I guess.
This was 29%.
29%. What?
Third highest on the grid.
Damn. This guy clearly is kind of well known. I'll go with.
I just got it.
Wait, what?
I think I know who it is.
So he's either active or like very famously played for both those teams.
I can confirm it's not R.A. Dickey. He was
okay. I wasn't gonna guess him.
Oh, that's fun. I do like him.
Oh my god, I'm completely drawing a blank here. I feel. Oh wait, I know the answer. It's Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. That is correct, Alex Rodriguez.
Boom goes the dynamite.
And then any guesses for Braves and Dodgers?
Andrew Jones.
No, he was my grid pick though. He was just 3%.
Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman, 31%. Yeah. That was the number one player on the grid. All right, good job, everybody. Good job, particularly.
Can I at least have my dot in that one so it looks like it was closer?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure. Why not? There you go.
Congratulations. Thank you for that splash. That was
fun.
That
was
fun.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I'd love to run that back at some time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so it's now time for the moment to ourselves. 60 seconds or so to talk about whatever the heck is on our minds. Gentlemen, if you guys don't mind, since I do have to go in a couple minutes, I would like to go first here.
Yep, go for it. Time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah, first of all, like I said earlier, awesome week in Florida. Really, really enjoyed it. It was great getting to know my teammates a little better, meet some people for the first time. Shout out to the International Swimming Hall of Fame for hosting us, and for my amazing boss, Jim, for organizing all this. But I do want to talk about my alma mater for a second. TCNJ, our Lions, won their 5th straight conference title this week, and it was dominant, really. This team hit their stride in January, and just I don't think anyone could have seen them doing as well as they did. They broke multiple team records, multiple relay records. 200 medley relay broke it by a second and a half. 400 medley relay broke it by 3 seconds. We had one guy break both of our butterfly records. We won all 5 relays, which hasn't happened in a while. It was just, really impressive top to bottom. The freshmen, the seniors, and everything in between. This was, unfortunately, I never got to experience a true conference title because the one year we won, it was a shortened year and not everyone competed. Not every team in the conference competed. But, yeah, it was just it was really awesome to see them show out. It's probably the best season we've had under our current head coach, who his first year was my freshman year. So, yeah, the blue and gold looks like their season's going to be going a little longer, going to NCAA's next month. So, yeah, it was really fun to watch. It was worth paying for the live stream, as much as I didn't love that D3 athletics got paywalled, but yeah, it's really, really fun to see.
Yeah, that's awesome, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool whenever you get to meet people and get to actually hang out with teammates like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like we have it's a spread out team. You know, we have 2 campuses, we have 3 practices a day. Not everyone goes to all the practices, obviously, because why would you do that? So it's sort of like, you know, you get to meet all these people. But anyways, these 2 fine gentlemen are going to take you the rest of the way because I have to go. So thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your week.
We'll see you later, Mac.
All right. Do you want me to go, Alex?
Go for it, Smack. Yeah.
Sure. Count me down.
Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Hello, friends. Jim Nance. Yeah. You got the point. Baseball's back. Can we stop with the injuries, please? I would greatly appreciate it. I would like my sanity to be kept. But I've been doing better the last few weeks. January was pretty rough. First couple weeks of February were pretty rough. But, you know, we're making progress, and that's what matters. We're stacking good days for once. So sometimes it's just a matter of perspective. So, yeah.
Injuries suck.
Yes,
Just
they do.
Outright. They just suck.
They are garb.
They, like, it's so weird because, like, we have all these projections, right?
Mm-hmm.
We, you know, think about how these teams are going to be built. One injury will change, you know, the course of the World Series. Like, that's, it's weird, man.
Like, think, like, the 2024 Braves, you lose the Cy Young favorite and MVP favorite. Well, besides Ohtani, the reigning MVP and the Cy Young favorite, you lose to seasoning injuries.
Yeah, it's like when Ohtani got hurt, like everyone's like, okay, how is this going to affect everything? Well, he's going to come out and have the best DH season we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So
just lame.
It's just how it be. All right, Give me a countdown whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm going to do something next weekend that I've wanted to do for a while. I'm going to go to a Pokemon regional event here. So the Pokemon regionals will be held in Seattle, and so I will be going to the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm very excited just because it's something that I love. I love Pokemon. I love being able to be around others like that, as well as playing all the side games of the TCG and the video games and all that. I am really looking forward to it. I'm a little sad I'm not going to have as many people to go with as I wanted to, but it's going to be a good time. I'm very, very, very excited. I cannot play in the main tournament because of reasons, but regardless of that, I'm still just going to have a great time, and I can see, Splash, what you are doing as we go back to the main
camp. Can't say I'm the biggest Pokemon fan, but happy that you're doing something fun. Yeah. Love to hear it. I myself am going to be trying a llama-based boba place for brunch on hopefully Saturday.
Way to keep your face on that one. Way to keep face.
Yeah. So llamas. Shout out to llamas.
Shout out to llamas. Absolutely.
Anything else before we wrap up?
The first games are in 2 days. Day after tomorrow, spring training. We will have baseball back, everyone.
Baseball's back.
Yeah. But so go and watch baseball. It'll help out with a lot of things. Here, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, unless you're Team Puerto Rico, then you're screwed.
Oh, that's just sad. But true. Ripperoo. Anyway, since Mac has left, mind if I do the outro?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much to every one of you for listening today. Make sure you go follow all of us on social media. You can go find me at the Sports Guy 242. You can go follow him back at Mathias Mathias _A_K, and you can go follow Splash at Mrs. Splashman19. You can also follow us as a collective at LAR_baseball on Twitter and Instagram, and Losses Above Replacement on YouTube, where I'm guessing some of you are currently watching it right now, which to those people, yay, thank you for joining in on this. We appreciate you. Or from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.